How do you know that you are actually doing financially well? And don't write yourself off just yet saying, well, I'm doing really poorly. No, you might actually be doing a lot better than you think. So here are some signs on TikTok that I found that show you are in fact doing better than you think you are. Let's get into the video.
Top 9 signs you're actually doing pretty well with your money. A definitive crowdsourced list provided by you. Here we go. Number 9, replacing all 4 tires at once. I just had to do this. Number 8, paying your credit cards in full on time every month. Number 7, putting things on auto pay. Number 6, forgetting that it's payday. Number 5, when you get that big unanticipated expense. You don't like it, it's very annoying, but you're okay with it because you have the money to cover it. Number 4, you order whatever you want at a restaurant and you buy whatever you want at the grocery store, including almonds. Number 3, you embrace random vacations. Want to go away for the weekend? Sure, let's do it. Number 2, you find yourself checking the IRA maximum contribution this year because you are going to max it out, and good for you. And finally, number 1, sharing, being able to share the money that you have with your friends and family, with charity. It's a great feeling.
I consider sharing to be one of the best signs that you're doing well financially because it means that you have such a good relationship with money and you do have money that you feel the need that you can share it with others without feeling like it's taking from you, or people, why are they taking this money, right? Like from me. I used to not be able to share because I didn't have a good relationship with money and I didn't have much money to begin with. So when I was able to start actually sharing my money, I think my life got a lot better because I felt better, like, oh, you know what? If my friend can't pay for this coffee, I'll just do it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I have money to pay for it. Or, to my favorite charities, the Innocence Project. The people in there in prison probably wish they would be at a shitty job driving for Uber instead of behind a cell. I would much rather give my money to them than keep it for what at some point? Like, I don't know. For me, I think that's an excellent sign. It's signs you're doing better than you think financially. You have enough to pay for bills. I completely agree. If you are able to pay for your bills, even if it's on a paycheck by paycheck basis, you're still doing pretty well financially. There are people who just aren't able to pay their bills. The last video that I did, people have to pick up second jobs. Of course, if you already have a second job or some sort of gig economy job on top of your main job and you're able to pay your bills, that's still really freaking good. And you should be proud of yourself of that. You have an emergency fund. Emergency funds are incredible. What is it that Dave Ramsey says? I think he says like your first 1,000. It might be a little bit outdated and should be adjusted for inflation at some point. But I think mentally just seeing that you have that first $1,000 or just really anything for any sort of emergency, you are doing well. Like imagine, so say you need to get your tire fixed, right? You're gonna have to probably replace at least 2 of your tires, if not all 4, depending on what car you're driving. And that can cost, sometimes past that $1,000. But I think the tires that I got replaced were like $800. Well, there you go. Sure, 80% of my emergency fund was taken, but I had the money. I didn't have to stress about it at all. You have no debt. That is literally so brilliant. And when I think of no debt, I never really include a mortgage. Because at the end of the day, right, that's where you're living. That's like your rent payment that you have to pay over time. So there's that. If you have no debt, you are doing incredible. There are people who dream of having a zero net worth. Think about that.
Signs that you're actually doing well financially, even if it may not feel like it. Number 1 is that you have a savings fund just for emergencies. Study shows that most Americans can't afford an emergency expense. So even if you just have a little bit saved to the side, you're setting yourself up for success. Number 2 is that you're completely free from credit card debt. Study shows that the average American has over $6,000 in credit card debt. So if you're at 0, then that definitely sets you apart.
Again, with the zero debt, no credit card debt, look at the interest on some of these credit cards. Some people are clawing themselves out of credit card debt because they have 12,000 or more in their credit card debt, but they can only pay like the minimum or just above minimum payments, but they're still on top of that paying 24% interest. Again, count your blessings if you don't have credit card debt. That is probably one of the worst debts that you can have.
3 is that you have debt, but you have a plan in motion to pay it off. Tracking your expenses and knowing your numbers is powerful, so give yourself a little bit of credit.
If you have a debt payoff plan, that is brilliant because you're actually not sticking your head in the sand, okay, on your finances. I know some of you out there are really scared to, comb through some of those bank statements or credit card statements, but how do you know to cut back on something if you do have debt, right? To cut back on something, or, maybe I don't need this subscription in my life. Like, for example, I was just combing through my credit card statement the other day and noticed that I had fraudulent charges. Hopefully you guys don't have any fraudulent charges. Your brain is just committing fraud on yourself. Because obviously you can write the fraud in your brain I have no idea where I'm going with this, by the way, but write the fraud in your brain to just do better and actually care more about your finances and what you're spending on stuff, right? And what you're spending on stuff.
Number 4 is that you're able to pay your bills on time or a little bit early.
That is even better. So paying your bills, right? We were just talking about being able to pay your bills. The next level is being able to pay your bills on time or early, okay? Early is like even better. That's like incredible, right? Because then that means you're not necessarily paycheck to paycheck. You have that savings that you have and you're like, you know what? Let me just pay this off. Or for example, with the phone bill, people will have a phone where they buy with the plan, right? Pay $100 every month or however much it is to, buy a phone on credit here. If you're able to just buy it outright, are you not doing really well?
Here are 2 signs that you're doing well financially, even if it doesn't feel like it. And this is coming from someone who meets with people on the daily to help them with their finances. The first sign you're doing well financially is that you have prioritized wealth over status. This means instead of worrying about the brand of your clothing or how shiny your watch is, that you've done the boring things. You've set up a budget, you saved your money, you've invested your money, because the true measure of wealth is not your material items, it's the amount of time you can go without having to work. Some who are poor pretend to be rich. Others who are rich pretend to be poor, because the goal is not to look rich, it's to actually be rich. You might care to know that the vast majority of people I meet with have enough savings to cover only 1 month of their living expenses before they go completely broke.
That is so crucial. Caring more about wealth than status. In America, I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well, in your own daily life, not just what TikTok tells you or Instagram Reels or YouTube or the news or your favorite reality TV show, but a lot of people are kind of, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but a little bit vapid and vain, where they care so much about brand names, and not even in like, well, I buy this brand because they are more environmentally friendly, or it's mostly because, well, it shows, like, it flashes wealth that you might have, or like fake wealth that you have, right? Like whenever I go backpacking, and in Southeast Asia, because that's where a majority of our luxury goods are probably actually created, such as North Face in Vietnam, people are like, oh, North Face, I can get North Face in Vietnam for a really good price, and then I'll look so cool. Like, I understand they're getting North Face for a bargain when they're actually going to the manufacturer themselves. But did you ever just stop to think, do I need this North Face jacket? I like North Face. I think it's a great brand, but do you need it? Can you go to like Costco and get one of their jackets, or go to your Goodwill and find a jacket there? Do you need to have something that is a brand name, or like those fake Cartier bracelets that you'll see on Amazon? So not only is it not the real deal, and not that I necessarily care about people stealing from luxury brands, but it kind of cheapens their brand a little bit if Amazon has like the cheap knockoffs. And anywhere in Asia does have, I don't know if they have they probably have a mix of knockoff and the real thing, but you just can't tell if you don't have that good eye, right? So just care more about what the possession actually gets you.
But the second sign you're doing better than you think you are financially is that you have a healthy relationship with money, because believe it or not, there are people who genuinely believe that money is evil. Yet they go to work every single day to a job that they hate for what? For money. So obviously money is necessary, so it's your responsibility to understand it, not avoid it.
And he sort of pointed out a little bit though why people think money is evil, because if you keep going to this job that you freaking hate, right? You're probably going to see money as evil, because money is getting you the things that we kind of should have as humans, right? Like, we're the only mammals on Earth, or probably really even beings on Earth, that pay to just exist. Like, we can't just have land that we even sleep on, just grass. Like, think about just land to sleep on. We would have to purchase that land. You can't even sleep in a park. Homeless people go to jail because they're sleeping on park benches. But if we're gonna say a healthy mindset on money, I would say that is a good sign that you are financially stable, because you have the positives coming in, right? You think, oh, money provides me with all of these things that I want and need, right? Not just necessarily need.
Here are 4 subtle signs you're doing well financially. Let me know how many of these apply to you. Number 1 is that you have an emergency fund of at least $2,000 saved up, because 59% of Americans can't even afford a $1,000 emergency expense. So I think having double that is a good sign that you're doing well. Now, Eventually, you want to get to 3 to 6 months saved up in a high yield savings account that you do not touch unless for emergencies. Number 2, you don't try to show off your wealth, you just simply build it quietly. So everyone on social media wants to show off how much money they have through their cars or their designer goods, but the true wealthy don't show off because they'd rather remain anonymous. So that means when you get rich, do not tell anybody because maintaining a low profile usually has more benefits than being loud. Number 3 is that you have debt that you can manage, or you just have no debt at all, because the average American has debt excluding mortgages of $22,713. So if you're under this, I take this as a good sign.
And I really like that he put in not just no debt, but manageable debt. Manageable debt, right? It's like having your credit card that you pay off every month, or you have that debt plan, as we were talking about earlier. Like, hey, I'm going to spend X amount of money, but it's a student loan and I expect to pay it off in X amount of years because I'm going to get a better job from it. I completely agree with him.
And number 4, your savings rate is 15% or more of your gross income, and this number can include your 401k and IRA contributions. I think having a 15% savings rate will virtually guarantee you retire on time or even early.
I know the rule of thumb used to be saving 10% of your income, so 15% is really good. I would say if you can really save anything in this economy, you're doing pretty well. But 15%, you're doing, that was me doing 4 thumbs up because obviously I don't have 4 thumbs, but you're doing super well. Good for you. When I was working at my job, before I quit to go abroad, I was saving probably 40% of my paycheck, 40 to 50%, just because I've been into the FIRE movement, and I keep saying that I'm going to make a video on it, but I keep not doing that. So if you really want to see it, let me know in the comments here. But if you're able to save anything, bravo. So what did you think? What are the signs that you are doing well financially? Drop them below and I'll see you in the next one. If you're enjoying content like this, subscribe for more.